Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's event with CircuitStream and UCF Continuing Education's department. We're going to kick off the presentation in just a couple of minutes here, but before I do, I always just like to make sure that, well, first off, everybody can see me okay, everybody can hear me okay. If that is the case, feel free to let me know in the chat tab, or you can go ahead and use the reacts. I've got some emojis. Yeah, perfect. Some thumbs up there. Amazing. Thank you, Isaac. So down in the bottom corner there, there's the chat tab. There's also a questions tab and a polls tab. So the questions tab, we're going to do a little bit of a dedicated Q&A at the end of this session here today. So if you have any questions, feel free to pop them into the questions tab. If we don't get to them right away, I promise we're not ignoring them. We have the intent to kind of circle back and do that at the end of the session. However, you are welcome to engage in the chat itself with the speakers, with the staff at CircuitStream, and of course with each other during the event here. There's also a polls tab in the bottom right corner there. I did drop one poll in there to start, and I'm going to do my best to remember to add a couple of more polls during the presentation. But there is one in there, so for anybody in the room, feel free to interact with that poll to start here. So. All right, so without further ado, I'll kind of kick off the presentation. I also have a little bit of a special giveaway at the end of today's presentation. So for those who are able to stick around to the end, I'll share that information with you too. And I will start off here by putting this up on the screen because this is more important to see the presentation here. And we can kick off the actual event. So my name is Tyler. I'm the marketing events manager at CircuitStream. I've been with the company for just over about 2.5 years. I previously worked in travel and tourism. It feels like a lifetime ago now, but I worked in travel and tourism for about 10 plus years. This was a pre-COVID career, I guess. And I am a video game enthusiast myself. We will also have a guest speaker here today joining us, Jesse, as Senior Program Manager at Magic Leap. He's going to be joining us in a few minutes to share some information on the company and on the XR industry in the US and in Florida. So I will invite him up shortly. Before that, I'm going to start off the presentation by sharing some information about the partnership between UCF Continuing Education and CircuitStream. So collaboration between education companies and research institutions fosters innovation and provides students with access to high quality education and resources. Universities are, of course, hubs of academic and professional networks, providing students with the opportunity to connect peers, professors, and professionals in various fields. I'm going to try my best not to trip over my words today. Sorry, guys. This partnership now adds the University of Central Florida to the top list of global universities that are partnered with CircuitStream to deliver XR development and design and also game development education. So you can see the badges on screen here. And to share a little bit more information on that, I'm going to invite Kenneth. Kenneth is a program coordinator at UCF's Continuing Education department, and he's going to share a little bit of information on the department and on the value of this partnership. As you can see on the slide too, before Kenneth pops up here, we also have Yana and Kevin. Yana is the program director at UCF Continuing Education, and Kevin is another program coordinator. Both Yana and Kevin are currently in the crowd, so if you have any questions for them, feel free to jump in the chat there and connect with them. But Ken, if you can hear this, feel free to hop up on stage now and share some information with us here. Perfect.
Thanks, Tyler. I appreciate that.
No problem.
Great welcome there. And as Tyler said, my name is Ken Williams in the Department of Continuing Education, along with Yana and Kevin, who's in the room as well. And Kevin and I will be your day-to-day at UCF, partnering with CircuitStream. So we'll be handling day-to-day, and Yana will oversee the partnership as a whole. Some of the great things that we decided to partner with CircuitStream is that we love the content of what they're doing. It's very relevant. There's a lot of growth and need for it. And, you know, to tell you the truth, we get calls every week from potential partners that want to work with UCF, and we're very selective. So we only pick the best of the best who we think are going to be a great, value and a great learning experience for our students that come in. So we take it very seriously, all of that. And, you know, some of the other things that make them a great partner and us a good fit for them is that we already have a large number of technology programs and companies we work with. We cover everything from avionics to cybersecurity, UX, UI, We have fiber optics, cybersecurity. So this fits right in our wheelhouse. And I've been working technology programs for probably the last 15 years. So I I'm really excited to be partnering with them, and the department and UCF as a whole, is looking forward to this partnership. So I think anybody in the room definitely ask questions. This is a great time for it. Uh, there's lots of exciting things that they're going to be offering, and you've already had a look, so that's why you're here. But if you decide you want to more information about UCF Continuing Education, our contact info will be in one of the slides, and Tyler can share it with you as well. But there they are. There's Kevin, who will be my partner in crime on this, and there's Jana. They are here. I think one of them just threw a can at me, but it's all good. Everybody's here in the audience. But I think that's about it, Tyler, as far as what we're doing, and we're super excited to be with you guys. You bring a lot to the table, and we can't wait to get started with you guys.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Kenneth. And like I said too, guys, I believe all three of them are in the crowd here. So if anybody has any questions at all for anybody at the UCF Continuing Education Department, feel free to engage with them in the chat now. We're going to do our best. I'm not quite sure if they're able to stick around to the end of today's presentation for the Q&A session with today's guest speaker. But if they do, then we can try and engage there as well. But thank you again, Kenneth. Thank you, Jan. I can see you're engaging in the chat there too. So thank you. And I'll go ahead and continue with the presentation portion here. Okay, so I am going to share a little bit more about CircuitStream in general. So CircuitStream began in 2015 through a network of developers, designers, and creators, and is now a leading provider of technology products, including AR, VR, game development and design, product management, and software development. We partner with industry-leading companies and leading educational institutions to offer courses and training to those looking to learn more about these emerging technologies. As you can see on screen there, these are just a handful of our partners. Of course, we do have more, but these are some of the notable partners that we have through CircuitStream here on the left. And then, of course, our educational partners are listed on the right. CircuitStream takes pride in consistent and positive feedback and reviews that we receive from our students. We currently have a 4.3 Trustpilot rating, and 92% of our job-seeking graduates found our career services to be incredibly helpful. I should have mentioned this at the beginning of the presentation as well. As soon as I get on any slides that have stats or any sort of information, I do like to note that this whole presentation will be recorded and provided to everybody who's registered. So for anybody who's registered, if you're sitting in the audience right now, you can take notes, you can take screenshots, or you can just sit back and relax, because you will get a full event recording in your email inbox after. So in terms of the course outcomes, 92% of our 2022 and 2023 graduates have found employment in relevant roles, which is incredible. And 25% of them achieved this milestone before they even completed the course, which is also crazy. So share more here. I'm going to talk a little bit about the XR and the gaming industries and the opportunities that exist in these spaces. Some of you may already know about XR, but I wanted to give a brief overview of the industry. So XR stands for extended reality, which encompasses virtual reality, augmented reality, and mixed reality. The XR industry has grown immensely in the last few years, which has made its way into a wide range of industries such as games, filming, music, manufacturing, healthcare, retail, and many more. I'm going to pause for a second and take water because I can tell that my mouth is getting dry. Sorry, folks. There we go. The XR industry has grown immensely in the last few years and has made its way into a wide range of industries, like I was saying: games, filming, music, manufacturing, health care, retail, and many more. Many companies are using XR for training simulations, interactive customer experiences, project visualizations, learning experiences, product development, virtual tours, and so on and so forth. So some more stats that you can see on the screen there. The primary roles in XR are usually grouped into either development or design. I'd like to share some of the differences between these two roles for everyone. So XR designers are primarily responsible for conceptualizing ideas and experiences, planning visuals through storyboarding, and prototyping to ensure optimal user experience. On the other hand, XR developers take the design blueprints and implement them to build an XR app or experience, and they utilize the code to bring it to life for the end user. So a little bit of a difference between the two roles there. Developers and designers usually work pretty closely together. Or in some cases, some people decide to develop both skill sets so they can, create an app from start to finish on their own. But most commonly, people end up working together in this regard. UCF Continuing Education now offers courses in both of these areas in partnership with CircuitStream. The demand for developers and designers in the XR space has grown dramatically and continues to grow as these technologies become more common. We've broken down the average salaries for design and development roles in the US, and as you can see, both offer highly competitive compensation. According to Mordor Intelligence, the extended reality market size in the United States is expected to grow from 105 billion in the current year to 475 billion in just 5 years, which is literally insane. That's crazy. So again, all these stats will be shared with everybody post event in the event recording, just to make sure you know. And now on to the gaming industry. So Florida's video game industry has become a vibrant and dynamic sector within the state's broader entertainment and technology landscape. Fueled by a thriving community of game developers, studios, and educational institutions, Florida has become a welcoming hub for both seasoned industry professionals and emerging talent. There are currently over 70 video game companies located in this state and over 6,000 direct jobs supported. There's some of the studios in the state listed on the slide there for you as well. Becoming a game developer or designer can be a rewarding career choice for individuals who are passionate about gaming and for those who have a flair for creative and interactive experiences, problem solving, and technology. On screen, you can see some of the top reasons why people choose to work as game designers and game developers. Currently, there are over 8,000 job openings for game developers in the United States alone, with the average salary sitting at about $121,000 annually. Now is a great time to get into this industry. Some of the titles you could end up with are game developer, of course, but also things like game engineers, game programmers, so on and so forth. This is a little bit of an overview of the 3 courses that are now available through UCF's Continuing Education department in partnership with CircuitStream. I'm going to share more detailed course pricing information later in the presentation, but I did want to quickly mention that through the department here, we do have an attendee offer in place. So anyone who's registered for this event would have access to 15% off of all of the courses that are now available through UCF's Continuing Education department. So I'll share more on that later. I just wanted to quickly mention it now. And now to take a closer look at the actual courses themselves. The 10-week XR development with Unity is a beginner-friendly course. It's project-based and delivered online. In fact, all of our courses are considered to be beginner-friendly. They're all project-based and delivered online. This course is designed for those interested in starting their journey into XR development. It has both synchronous and asynchronous weekly projects and assignments, and there are 8 hours of classwork and 5 office hours per week. Students would complete this course with an XR developer certification, and you can see the badge on the screen there. The 10-week interaction design and prototyping for XR course is formatted quite similarly to the development course with both synchronous and asynchronous weekly projects and assignments. There are also 8 hours of classwork and 5 office hours per week in this course as well. This course is meant for those interested in starting their journey into XR design, and students would complete this course with an XR designer certification. And then the 30-week game development bootcamp has 10 hours of class per week with 5 hours of live lectures, technical and career labs, and weekly office hours. This bootcamp is designed for those interested in learning Unity and game development, teaches students how to create immersive digital worlds and bring imaginative game concepts to life. This course is beginner friendly, but it is best suited for those with a little bit of Unity experience, which you can also gain in our 10-week courses that we offer as well. So if you have a little bit of Unity experience, the first week or 2 will probably be a little bit of a refresher for you. If you don't, coming in the gate, then the first 2 weeks would be really important because that's when you're kind of learning and getting the base of Unity development foundation skills. So that's the Game Development Bootcamp. Also, as a part of the Game Development Bootcamp, we've organized special AMA sessions with industry professionals. So confirmed so far for 2024, we have guests joining us from companies like Unity, Keyword Studios, Game Breaking Studios. And we also have a bunch on deck right now from companies like Riot Games and Ubisoft and a bunch of other big headliners too. So stay tuned for those. These are just for the students of our Game Development Bootcamp there. So. And to share some information on our career development and the support that is offered through these boot camps, I'm now going to go ahead and invite CircuitStream's Outcomes Manager on stage, One-Eye. Welcome, One-Eye.
Thanks, Tyler. All right, so all of our boot camps are structured with ample career support and guidance. The CircuitStream Career Labs teach students how to leverage technical and behavioral strengths, gain awareness of the digital ecosystem, create compelling portfolios, elevate digital presence, learn how to network effectively, and become interview ready for industry jobs. Our career and networking support really sets our programs apart from others that you may find. Every student has different objectives coming in, but those looking for new jobs or to improve their current positions find this aspect of the course incredibly helpful. In fact, 92% of our 2022-2023 game development graduates utilized our career services support. As part of the career support, our boot camps also come with a student pitch day, which happens towards the end of the program. Students have the opportunity to showcase their capstone projects to hiring and industry partners. This event is an amazing way to add people to your network, be considered for any job openings that they may have, or to just receive feedback on your projects from hiring managers working in the industry.
Amazing. Oh, I went a slide too far there. Sorry. Well, thank you so much, One-Eye. Thank you for sharing that. So if anybody has any questions about the career support or about that segment of the bootcamp that we offer, One-Eye is in the audience, so feel free to ask questions to her. You can chat with her directly in the chat log there. Yeah, the pitch day is amazing. I've seen a lot of our students receive contracts directly through the pitch day or opportunities, for career, different types of careers, based on depending on which course they took, I guess, development or design, whatever the case may be. But yeah, if you have any questions about that, just reach out and let One-Eye know. I'll stop rambling about that and I'll move on to the next part of the presentation here. So now I am going to officially invite today's guest speaker up on stage. Jesse is an experienced senior program manager at Magic Leap, who specializes in building and growing developer and creating communities while helping bridge gaps in needs between the two. So welcome, Jesse.
Thanks, Tyler. Happy to be here.
Awesome. And I'm going to boot myself off stage here and let you share yours. Jesse's got a presentation he's going to share as well. So just let me know when you're done, Jesse, and I'll pop back up.
Great. Okay. Hopefully everybody can see my presentation there. I'm going to make this a relatively quick and simple presentation. First, I'll introduce myself, give a little bit about my story of how I got into the industry. Then we'll talk about AR, VR, XR, mixed reality, spatial computing, what it is, what it isn't. Then I'll talk a bit about working at Magic Leap. Then we'll take a look at some of the jobs available at Magic Leap currently. And then Q&A is actually at the end with Tyler, but I'll be sticking around for that and happy to answer questions and watching the chat as well. So a bit about myself. My name is Jesse McCulloch. I'm an ecosystem community manager at Magic Leap. This means that I get the awesome job of talking to developers and designers and potential developers and designers like a lot of you, and making sure they have the resources to educate themselves and begin building on the Magic Leap platform. A bit about my journey. In XR, at least, it started in 2015. At that point, I was doing some enterprise JavaScript development in the research industry. Been kind of interested in Microsoft technology as I was paying attention when they were about ready to launch a new version of Windows. And they brought out this gentleman named Alex Kipman on stage, who announced this amazing looking device called HoloLens. And it was kind of the first augmented reality headset that I had ever seen. And it was super interesting to me. Here's a picture of that first HoloLens. And the demonstration was kind of unreal. People were watching robots come out of their walls and shooting at them and seeing digital objects in the real world. And I had never seen anything like this, and it didn't seem real to me. But it looked really amazing. And at that point, I was totally hooked. I wanted to get in. So I set up some news alerts to pay attention to like any news coming out about this. I didn't really believe that it was like they were showing, because so much can be fake these days, even in 2015. But as I was watching some of the news, people in the tech industry that I've followed for a long time and really trust, and I was watching them get to demo this and see that it was real, I got super excited. So, in late 2015, early 2016, Microsoft sent out a survey to people who'd signed up for information, and they said, if you fill out this form, if you're interested in becoming a developer for HoloLens. And so I opened up the form, and it was like 5 questions long, and it was things like, what amazing use cases do you have for this technology, and how are you going to change the world with this technology? And I didn't have a clue. I just answered everything like, I don't know, I just really want one. And so I was like, I'm going to be the last person they choose to get one of these things. And so I was super excited in 2016 when I got an email from Microsoft saying, you're among the first people that we want to give the opportunity to go buy one of these HoloLens devices. I thought they were crazy, for sure, because I obviously didn't have a clue what I was going to do with this thing. But they saw something in me apparently. And so I was then stuck with this really hard decision. The HoloLens, the first HoloLens cost $3,000 for a developer kit. I had no idea what I was going to do with it. I didn't know how I was going to make that return on investment. And so I got really fortunate that I happened to have a bonus come through right about that time that I could use to cover it. And I figured that worst case scenario, I'll figure out how to develop on this thing, and then I would contract out or develop for other people who had ideas for what to do with it. So I pulled the trigger on it and got this device shipped to me. On the left side there, I'm wearing it while I'm donating blood. I was actually watching Netflix. I was donating platelets, which is about a 3-hour process. So I was able to watch Netflix on a big screen in front of myself while I was doing that. And then there on the right side, after a long day of developing, I actually passed out with this thing on, and my girlfriend snapped a picture of it. So that's kind of one of my fun favorite photos. So I get this thing. Microsoft sent them out in waves as they manufactured them. Like they were literally taking them off the line in China and shipping them to developers. And I was in the first wave. The initial waves were about 20. So I was among the first 20 people outside of Microsoft to get one of these devices. And when you are one of the first 20 people to have this brand new technology that nobody's ever used before and nobody's ever programmed for before, it's really lonely and it's really hard to get help. You can't go on a Stack Overflow and say, hey, how do I do this on a HoloLens? Because nobody on Stack Overflow has ever used a HoloLens. And so Microsoft had some forums that they had. I'd go in and I'd ask questions on the forums and somebody'd come back and answer. But it was really impersonal. Like you weren't getting to know anybody. It was just like, here's a question, here's the answer. So I started up a Slack community for HoloLens developers. And as more and more developers got this device, they started joining the Slack community, and it kind of became the de facto HoloLens community out there for Microsoft. And so after a couple of years of running this community, I started getting in contact with people at Microsoft on the HoloLens team. I ran a couple of events in coordination with them, summits where we got to come on campus at Microsoft, kind of tour the facilities, and then we had community-led presentations. And after about a year of doing that, we hit the next milestone for me in 2018 when I actually got offered a job to come run developer community for the HoloLens team at Microsoft. So there I am. That left picture is kind of my first week there, and I was there for almost 5 years. So we moved on from HoloLens 1. I was there for the launch of HoloLens 2, which is the device you see me wearing on the right-hand side there. I ran a couple of large developer days events where we had people come to Microsoft on campus, one of them pre-pandemic and then one of them post-pandemic, and then some virtual events in between. I got to go to a lot of hackathons, do a lot of speaking. And even though I moved away from doing day-to-day development on HoloLens, it got me into this position of being able to, scale out how I can help people to a much broader audience. So that's one of the things that super excites me about this role that I have. of doing community development and community leadership. So fast forward from there about 5 years to last year in January, and unfortunately, I got hit with the layoffs that Microsoft had. I was in the first round of cuts in January, where they cut the first probably third of the 10,000 employees. And this kind of stuff happens. It happens within the game dev industry. We're seeing it right now. But don't let that scare you, because there's lots and lots of opportunities out there, as Tyler mentioned. And so I had severance. I took a little while, played a lot of Call of Duty. I was getting paid by severance, so I keep telling people I professionally played Call of Duty for a couple of months. And then I got real serious about looking and reached out to some other companies in the AR/VR space. And Magic Leap was able to pick me up in June of this last year. So I've been here for 7 months now, initially doing some partner development and account management. And then they decided they wanted to get into the community management stuff. And I raised my hand and I said, hey, that's what I was doing at Microsoft for 5 years. And so I kind of got to slide into that already being there. And so that's what brings me to talking to you guys today. So where does the future go from here? I don't know. I really love what we're doing at Magic Leap, but this is a super fast growing industry. You've got companies like Apple who are just joining the mix with their Apple Vision Pro. If you haven't heard of it, you've probably not been paying much attention to the news the last few weeks. So super excited that Apple's kind of getting into this, because, they've got a really huge built-in community, and anybody entering the space kind of really helps define it a little bit more and bring it closer to the future. So with that, let's jump in and talk about AR, VR, XR, mixed reality, spatial computing, and what it is. Tyler talked a little bit about this earlier, but I'm going to go into it a little bit deeper. So virtual reality. Virtual reality headset here. This is the MetaQuest Pro. It's a completely virtual world. So when you put it on, you turn it on, you're in this virtual reality world. Everything you see has been designed and developed by somebody. So the environment that you're in, any interactions. And so that takes a certain skill set. Level design and world design is a super, super interesting and super specialized part of game development and game design, and just one of many, many aspects. But the cool thing about VR is you can actually kind of play with some of what normally would be hard rules of physics and life. You can have things that don't have gravity, and you have things that have really weird physics. And because you're in this virtual space and you have control over all of the environment, you can get away with that. Whereas when we talk about augmented reality here in a second, you don't really get to change those rules as much as you can in VR. So augmented reality, devices like the HoloLens, the Magic Leap 2, these are devices that allow you to put digital content into your real world. So you put them on, in the case of the Magic Leap and the HoloLens, you actually see through them through lenses and see your real world. Some of the nice things about that is that people who get sick in VR, because your body is feeling one thing and your eyes are seeing something different, they don't really have those same effects that you in augmented reality, because you're so grounded in your real world. So it lets you put digital content in your real world, and you're like, well, that sounds kind of cool, but what's the use of that? When we talk about things like training, being able to have a manual up next to somebody as they're working on something, or as they're learning how to do something, or being able to see the steps of putting something together is super useful. Being able to see IoT data right on the machine that it's keeping track of, and being able to kind of get that broad overview of what's going on. We're seeing so many industries, even healthcare, surgeons looking at, CT scans while they're in doing a surgery or prepping for the surgery, and being able to see that and visualize it in 3D, kind of in that real world in the operating theater. So seeing it across all sorts of industries. these devices are expensive. The HoloLens and the Magic Leap both run about $3,500. So as an individual, you're not going to go out and buy one of these things and just start using it. So, the benefit right now and the targeted industries right now are really enterprise. Remote assistance. So if a machine breaks down, say, in Europe, and the company that makes it is in the US and has to fly a technician out there, that may shut a factory down for a day or 2 or 3 while they get somebody out there and get it fixed. Whereas with, an augmented reality headset, you can put it on, make a virtual call to a remote expert, and they can walk you through, see what you're seeing. They can actually draw into the space and say, change out this part or whatnot. And really you can, reduce the time of machines down from days to hours. And, if you shut down a production line for 3 days, you're talking about millions of dollars that could potentially have been lost. So, $3,500 device very, very quickly pays for itself. So that's why we're seeing the industry so excited about these kind of devices. There's a kind of this middle ground, and we're starting to see a little bit more of that now. And I think it becomes even cooler in the future when we think about what this could be. So what's that middle ground? So you've got the completely virtual world, you've got your completely augmented world, but what if you can have kind of the best of both? What if you have a device that normally is augmented reality and you can see see your real world, but you want to watch a movie and you want to be kind of distraction free. So the lens is dim, kind of blocks out the real world, and you've got a giant screen in front of you. And this is kind of this mixed reality or XR space. When we're talking about devices like the Meta Quest 3 and the Apple Vision Pro, they are what we call pass-through augmented reality. So it's a virtual reality device. It takes a feed from the cameras and then allows you to see that with low latency, not no latency, which you get more with pure augmented reality. But with these pass-through AR devices, we're getting kind of this blend of virtual and augmented reality where you can take that camera feed, layer digital content into it, and present that to the person wearing the VR headset. Long-term future, what does that look like? I don't know. My vision of it is, we get these AR glasses that are in a form factor of something the size of a pair of sunglasses. I seeing digital content in my real world all day long is super awesome. And that's kind of the future that I'm working toward. But it's hard to say, as much as I'd like it to be there tomorrow, that's just not going to happen. There's a lot of technology that needs to happen to kind of get there. When you think about like the size of these devices today, when we're looking at, the Magic Leap 2, we've got a compute here with a battery, a GPU and a CPU, and then on the headset itself is the displays and the display engines. That's a lot of technology, and how do you shrink that down into something the size of a pair of sunglasses? And thinking about batteries and how long those things can last is some of the big breakthroughs that we need to make. Things like 5G, pervasive everywhere. And so what you can do with that is offload some of that rendering into the cloud. So you don't have to have a big GPU on the device or a big CPU on the device. You do that all in the cloud, but that requires that you're always connected. Batteries is a big one where we need to see a jump forward, because even the batteries in your phone last for a good 12, 14 hours, which will get you all day. But think about how big that battery is in your phone. It probably takes up a good half of it. So trying to fit that battery into a pair of sunglasses is an interesting and hard problem. So there's still a long way to go. But that's good, because that gives you all lots of opportunities to get into this field. And even though it's been around, these devices have been around since 2015, a little bit earlier for VR. It's still super early, and there's very few, if any, experts in this space. So there's a lot of opportunity for people to come in and make their mark. So skills needed to be an AR, VR game developer, programming, Unity, Unreal, game engines, 3D modeling. We're talking about Blender and Maya 3D and some of the Autodesk products. animation, how do you get stuff to actually move in your real world or in your virtual world? Audio design is a huge one. UI design, UX design, some of the stuff that Tyler was talking about that they offer through CircuitStream. And so if you're looking at this and you're rightfully freaked out about all the stuff that you need to learn to get into this industry, that's good, because you shouldn't be, because these are not the skills you need to be an AR VR game developer. These are the skills needed on an AR VR game development team. When you join a studio or a company, you should not be doing all these things. These are all very, very specialized things. And in theory, you should have a whole team behind you that's working on these different aspects of it. So the nice thing is this gives you a lot of room to pick a specialization and go deep into it. And as Tyler mentioned, some people choose to kind of learn it all. And those people are out there who are amazing, 3D artists and programmers and audio designers. It takes a lot of work and whatnot, but it can be done. So if that's what interests you, by all means, go down that road. But if you are looking at this and saying, I really want to get into 3D modeling or animation or audio design, there's plenty of room in this industry, and those are all important pieces of it as well. Working at Magic Leap. This is the fun part where I talk about my company. This is one of my favorite quotes. If you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. This is attributed to Confucius. Nobody knows if he actually said it or who actually said it, but this has been something that I've kept as a mantra for me, both at Microsoft and Magic Leap. And the awesome thing is I very rarely, if ever, feel like I'm the smartest person in the room. When you think about all the work and technology that goes into building these products, it's crazy how much you have the opportunity to learn from other people, even if it's just at a surface level. From things like waveguide designs and light engines and how the photons are bounced out of the light engine through a lens and into your eyes, down to audio and spatial audio and how you get sound and make it come from a certain direction. There's so much to learn. So please remind yourself that in this industry, you're always going to be learning, and make sure that you're always in a place where you're able to keep learning. Magic Leap offices. We've actually got a bunch of offices around the world. We're obviously headquartered in Plantation, Florida, so down near UCF. But we also have offices in the U.S. in Austin, Texas, Boulder, Colorado, and Sunnyvale, California. We have an office in Tel Aviv, Israel, and then we've got an office in Zurich, Switzerland, where a lot of our optics stuff happens. The super awesome thing is Magic Leap is super remote friendly. I'm actually located in Washington State. I work from home. And I would say a good portion of my team, actually all of my team works remotely. A couple of them are near campus and go in occasionally, but for the most part, we're kind of scattered around the world. We have one person who's a digital nomad. She travels from place to place every few months, which is super cool. And in general, Magic Leap is super, super remote friendly. Jobs in Magic Leap. So this website is our career website. I actually just went and looked at software engineering jobs right before I jumped on today and took this screenshot. We're at the beginning of our fiscal year, so we're just finalizing budgets. So there's not a lot of jobs up there right now, but I would anticipate in the next couple months, you're going to see a lot more stuff pop up there. So I encourage you, as you get through your boot camp or through your courses, check out our career website, just apply for these positions, start going through the interview process. Don't be afraid of people telling you no. I got told no a whole bunch before I got in. I got told a whole bunch after I got, laid off at Microsoft, and persistence really, really pays off and in getting these kind of jobs that you want. So please check out our careers page. And with that, I'm going to hand it back over to Tyler. Thank you for letting me jump on and talk to you all. And hopefully I've inspired you and given you a little bit of information. And hopefully we'll see some of you working at Magic Leap one day.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. You can hear me okay, right?
Yep.
Yeah, okay, perfect. Making sure I wasn't muted. Thank you so much, Jesse. That was amazing. And we said this earlier too. Jesse will be sticking around for the Q&A portion of the presentation. So if you have any questions for him, feel free to add them in the chat now. You can put them in the questions tab. I'm going to share my screen again here and go through a little bit more information on the course, just some course pricing, upcoming cohorts, all that kind of fun stuff. But then we can get into the Q&A, and I'll share the special giveaway that we have here too for today. So without further ado, let me put this back up on screen here. And so, yeah, if it's okay, like I said, I'm going to share information, but if it's okay with everyone, I'm going to start off with the pricing information for the courses that we have through UCF Continuing Education. So yes, so we have a special attendee offer. I mentioned this earlier today. You are able to register for any of the 3 UCF courses and receive 15% off of the regular price. So you can see all of the pricing on screen here, the 10-week XR development and design starter packages, the plus packages. You can see the 2 prices on the left there, the $3,995, the $4,995. Those would be regulars. With the promotion in place, the pricing in the little yellow box on the right-hand side would be the adjusted prices there. So as well as the 30-week Unity Game Development Bootcamp at the bottom, adjusted from $14,995 down to $12,745, which is a pretty massive discount. These offers are available until February 9th or until the seats fill. So you just have to let us know, reach out to a team. I'm going to share contact information here as well in just a moment. But if you have any questions about the upcoming start dates, about the promotions, about payment plan options, we do have flexible payment plans and loans, and you can kind of set up different sorts of options there too. So just let us know. I'll share the contact information here in just a moment. In terms of the upcoming cohorts for the XR development with Unity, and also I put XR development with Unity on here twice. I'm sorry, folks. It should say XR development with Unity on the left, and on the far right box at the bottom, it should say interaction design and prototyping for XR. Those are the 2 10-week courses. They both run the same date. So they're both running from March 18th straight through to May 23rd. And then the box in the middle is the Game Development Bootcamp. That one is running from February 13th straight through to September 5th, 2024 here. So those are the upcoming cohorts. They usually run every few months. So there's likely an option within a few months following these dates. If these dates didn't work for you for any reason and you were interested in pre-registering for a future course, I think we can still probably apply the attendee promotion that we have available for everyone for future dates there. So just reach out and let us know. I shouldn't speak on behalf of the admissions team, but I'm sure that's okay that we can do that for you. And then, yeah, this special giveaway. So Indy is the instructor manager at CircuitStream, and he recently wrote and released a book, which is amazing. His book is Mastering Augmented Reality Development with Unity. So for anybody who's going through our courses, whether it be the game development courses or the 10-week courses, this type of book would be incredibly helpful for you. There's ton of amazing information in there. And like I said, it's a brand new release. He just released it in the last couple of months. So everything in the book will be accurate and up to date too. So what we're doing with this is, for anybody who purchases the courses with the attendee offer with the 15% off through this event, I'm also going to send out a copy of the physical book to those folks as well. So just a fun little giveaway and a way to kind of connect you with our instructor manager as well. So we're quite proud that he just wrote and released a book. And then if you want to register for the boot camps, the courses, the URLs on screen here are the best ways to submit an application directly. So UCF's Continuing Education, that is the main website there. For CircuitStream, that is our direct website. Yeah, you can go through and submit. If you do, just make sure you let us know so that we can make sure we send a copy of the book for you. And we can also, I think for the 10-week courses, you might be able to do a self-checkout. So if somebody was purchasing the course, you don't necessarily need to connect with somebody on the team. But if you are doing that, you do need to add a code. And I didn't put the code in here. Stick with me for 1 second here, folks. I'm going to get you the code for today's event. So then that way, if you go through the self-checkout, you are able to apply the discount yourself. Oh, it's very easy. It's just UCF 15. So I'm going to put this in the chat log on the right-hand side here, guys. UCF 15. If you put that code into the self-checkout on either of the 2 websites, you should be able to purchase the course with the promotion there. So sorry, I meant to just make sure I had that in there for you. And if you have any questions about anything at all, the easiest way to reach out to us here is at admissions@circuitstream.com. The UCF folks shared their direct contact information earlier in the presentation too. So if you have any more specific questions about the partnership or about UCF's continuing education department, you can also just reach out to them direct. But if you're looking to apply to the course, or if you have any questions about that side, just reach out to our team here through admissions, and we can absolutely help you. And that's it. I will stop rambling. I promise this is the end of me rambling now. We can pull Jesse back up on stage, and we can do a little bit of Q&A if there's any questions from the audience. I think we did have, here, let me close this out here first. I think we had a few lined up. Oh, why is it not letting me go? There we go. We had a few questions lined up from earlier. So I'll start with the one at the bottom here, and we can start going through a couple of these. So what studios are you guys partnered with? Are they mainly indie or a combination of different AAA studios? The answer is it's a massive combination of both, actually. Through CircuitStream, we have partnerships with a ton of indie studios. We have partnerships with larger studios like Ubisoft. We've got some partnerships in Canada with EA, Inflection Games out of Alberta, lots of different companies. I mean, I could sit here and list a whole bunch off, but there's a good mix of both AAA studios and indie studios. And when we do our partner pitch day, we try to do our best to invite people from kind of both different crowds. Oftentimes the larger studios will be looking for, internship opportunities or early career opportunities. Whereas when some of the smaller studios, the indie studios, might be looking to just give out direct contracts to new developers and designers and give them a little bit of an opportunity to gain some experience right away that way too. So we like to make sure that, when the students are presenting their projects, they have kind of both types of companies in the audience viewing their presentation. So hopefully that answers that question there. I see some thumbs up coming through, so I think that's good. Okay, how much specialization is offered within the game development bootcamp, such as focusing on 3D modeling versus coding? So Elena, the best way to do that, the best thing to do is go to our website, go to the links that I just shared there, and then just click the syllabus download for the course. It's going to give you a full breakdown of the full course, like all the different sections, and then kind of what you would cover specifically within each. I don't like to say too much in terms of, what you're going to get into, what you're going to dive into in the courses, because I'm certainly not an instructor myself. I've been with CircuitStream for, over 2.5 years, but I don't do any coding or any development on my side here. So that's the best thing. And Lena, if you have any further questions other than that, if the syllabus doesn't give you kind of the information that you're looking for there, just reach out to the admissions team, admissions@circuitstream.com. We can send you copies of the syllabi. We can, send you emails with detailed answers. We can also set up phone calls with you if you just want to have like a 15-20 minute chat and ask some questions to an admissions person. We can do that too. So. And yeah, just a few questions here today. Sorry, Jesse, I'm just posting them and just plowing through them here, but they seem to be mostly about the courses and stuff so far here. So this is the last one that was up here. So can these classes be taken as a dual enrollment credit for students in high school, or would they be an option for high school students to take? So we actually have pre-university courses as well through CircuitStream. It's not necessarily available through the university partnerships quite yet in the United States. But if you are looking to eventually, take a course like this through UCF Education, and you might be a year or two young before you're eligible for this, we do have the pre-university educations available directly through CircuitStream. And we offer a whole bunch of different types of courses and coding and AI and drone engineering and just a whole bunch. I'm just naming a few off the top of my head here. But if you wanted to get a little bit of a dive into this while you're still in high school, the pre-university courses are probably the best thing to do. And I believe you can find more information on that through our website, circuitstream.com. If you can't yet, because they're kind of a newer initiative for us, you can also reach out to the admissions@circuitstream.com, and we can definitely provide more info there for you. So hopefully that helps. I've got one for you, Jesse. Are there any good ways to cheaply get into AR, VR, XR design?
Yeah, so definitely. As much as I'd like to send everybody out to buy Magic Leap devices today, they are spendy devices. courses like through CircuitStream, they offer, beyond these boot camps, they offer a bunch of other stuff for online education that you can get into. There's also just a ton of content out there on YouTube. A lot of the stuff is general Unity or Unreal, depending on kind of which game engine you want. And then, with the way that the technology is maturing through like pass-through VR, AR headsets, something like a MetaQuest 3, I think $400 or $500 to get one. It can do pass-through AR, which gets you kind of into the area, and just gives you a lot of room to kind of experiment without breaking the bank of buying, one of these super expensive headsets. So it's definitely a good route to go. As this technology matures, all of these things are going to come down in price. But that's a good place to start. And there's lots of, resources out there for, teaching yourself if that's something you can do. But there's also, a lot of online companies, CircuitStream included, that can get you going on these things relatively cheaply.
Absolutely. I thought I just had another one pop up there. Yeah, thank you. That's perfect, Jesse. And what we say too, especially, I believe this is especially for the design course, we have a lot of students ask us, can you take the courses, the 10-week XR development and design courses, if you don't own a headset? And the short answer is yes, you can. The main reason is we are teaching using Unity, and we're kind of teaching core principles and the concepts that you're going to learn to be able to develop and design. But most of your education is on a computer screen through like a program like Unity or Unreal, or, depending on what the type of course is, I guess. But the longer answer is a headset's going to help you quite a bit, especially in the long run. If you're testing out different projects, you can kind of see what it's going to look like on a computer screen, but to put on a headset and immerse yourself in it, be able to experience that and, kind of give yourself even direct feedback by doing that, it's going to allow you to do a lot more. So usually what I say to people is, if they come to us and say, I've only got so much of a budget right now, I want to be a developer designer, and I also want to go and get a headset, like where do I start? What do I do? Usually on our side, we would say you can start with the education without the headset, but just know that eventually you're probably going to want to invest in a headset because it's going to help you quite a bit. So that wasn't technically a question that came through there, but just to kind of, add to the cheaper ways to kind of get into developing with XR and development and design.
Yeah. One other thing to add to that is, if you are part of a university, check out the AR VR club. Most colleges have them. They've got devices that you can use and borrow and whatnot. Same with libraries. Surprisingly, a lot of libraries are buying devices and allowing you to come in and use them kind of in the library. So there are other options besides buying a device. So kind of look around it, and especially at the university level with the AR VR clubs are pretty awesome.
Totally. Yeah. And like you said, libraries too, especially now in 2024, it's coming quite a ways. You can see these, a lot of events I go to even now just have, XR interactive experiences happening all the time. So it's definitely quite common. So, okay. So let's do this one. This one is definitely for you, Jesse.
Yeah. So Surface Neo, that was a completely different team. So I don't have any information on that other than I wish it didn't get canceled because I really wanted to get one. But that's kind of the way it goes in this industry is you work on a project and sometimes, priorities change or resourcing changes. So projects get canceled, unfortunately, but I agree it would have been an awesome device. And, one of these days somebody's going to make one besides an iPad that I'm really going to want to get.
Amazing. Follow-up question.
No idea on that one.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. Okay, I'm just going to take a quick look. Oh, and I should mention too, I did drop one other poll into the polls tab there while we were chatting. I should have mentioned this earlier, but for anybody who's in the audience, feel free to interact with that one. Just was checking to see, how well I presented the course information today, I guess, and if everyone had a good understanding of the 3 courses that I presented through UCF. And if not, if you don't, I encourage you just to reach out and let us know, because we, obviously can go over and make sure that you have a good understanding in that case. But I think at this point, Jesse, we are right around the hour mark. So we've hit almost perfect timing for this event. We've gone through all the questions that I can see in the questions tab. So Jesse, I didn't prepare you for this in advance, but if you have a LinkedIn profile that you want to throw into the chat here, just where people can find you. I mean, you can share any of your socials. Usually LinkedIn's a safe one, but feel free to connect with Jesse if you have any questions about the event today. And likewise for myself, I don't have my link handy, but if you just look Tyler Trapp at CircuitStream, you're going to find my LinkedIn pretty quickly. So you can connect with me. You can reach out. My email is Tyler, Tyler at circuitstream.com. You can always reach out to me directly with questions if for any reason you couldn't get through to admissions or, whatever the case may be. So, but thank you so much, Jesse, for joining us here today. Oh, we've got the LinkedIn shared in the chat there now for Jesse. So, we had another question come in. Do this one here too before. How does a UI designer differ from VR AR compared to designing for computer use?
Yeah, so it's actually quite a bit different. When you start working in 3D, it kind of makes a huge difference in how you design for it. So people are very used to interacting with computers and things on a screen in kind of 2D and even kind of faked 3D through video games and whatnot. But when you start talking about UI and especially UX design in AR and VR, you suddenly have to start thinking about depth and how you can interact with things. Most new headsets today allow for hand tracking, so you can actually reach out and start working on grabbing things and poking at things and pointing at things. And a lot of the things that we take for granted for 2D screens don't really work that well. Typing on a virtual keyboard in empty space is super not awesome. And that's something even, with phones, we've kind of gotten used to virtual keyboards, but there's always kind of this tactical haptic, you're touching a surface and that's really hard to do in AR, VR. You would think that you could be like, oh, I'll just look down at my desk and have a keyboard on there. But when you start thinking about how hand tracking works through like infrared, and you're bouncing off an infrared for depth and you're getting down near a desk where it's all bouncing back at kind of the same rate, it's really hard to tell when you're pressing against the desk. So just a lot of things that we haven't had to deal with and not only figuring out how to do better UX design, but also you can do things that you couldn't do through, through a 2D screen. So what are some awesome new ways of interacting with things that you couldn't do before? If you've got an object that's far away, pointing out at it and force grabbing it, having it come to you if you put focus on it enough. It's not something you could do in the real world or on a screen, but it's one of those cool interactions that you can start testing and playing around with. So I'd say it's very, very different. But again, it's still an area where even after 10 years of doing this, we're still learning a lot about how best to do it. And I would say that probably the things that we think are going to be awesome right now, in 10 years from now, we'll be doing completely differently. So
as it goes.
Yep.
As it goes. Oh, do you recommend any computer manufacturers?
Actually, I tend not to. I do my development right now on an HP EliteBook. When I was at Microsoft, I had both an Alienware and Surface Pro. So, a lot of, when you're, I guess kind of depends on what you're talking about. So when you're doing AR, VR stuff, a lot of that's running on a headset directly. So, your processor and your GPU and your computer are going to be able to actually do probably better than a mobile GPU and chipset. So just about any computer will work for doing that. And then, it's just a matter of how fast you want it to go, do your compiling and stuff. So I'd say the better device that you can afford to get, by all means do. It'll just save you time and down the road, but it's also something that can be done, on lower end devices too.
What are your thoughts, Jesse, on, just to add to that too, on PC versus Mac?
I mean, I'm strictly in the PC camp, but that's just because that's what I've been using for 20 plus years. When we talk about things like the new Apple Vision Pro, I think, being on the Mac side definitely is going to be a pro there. Unity runs on both, so you should be able to develop most Unity apps on both. And especially worst case scenario, you use Parallels or Bootcamp, and you can throw Microsoft or Windows on a Mac fairly easily. So it shouldn't block you one way or the other from being able to develop.
Yeah, that's kind of the same feedback I hear from our instructors. Is sometimes with Macs you just need, like you said, like maybe one extra step to kind of get it to work the same way. But ultimately, there's workarounds, and there's definitely ways to do it. So if anybody has a Mac or something in the audience too, and they're thinking, they're hesitating to move into development or design until they get like the perfect PC with the the fastest processor they can, you don't necessarily need to do that. It's a pretty big download, but it's actually not that bad. It's pretty manageable to run. So I've even had some people go out and get external hard drives for a lot cheaper and just move some stuff off their system and then just run Unity on their system. And that's a pretty cheap way to do it too. Just to add to the the question about how to do it price consciously earlier there. So.
Yep.
So that's it. I think Isaac said thank you after the last question there that you had answered there. So thank you again to everybody for joining us here today. Like I said a million times, if you have any questions, just reach out to us here or the folks at UCF. Thank you to them as well. I'm not sure who's still in the room, but thank you to all three, Kenneth, Kevin, Yana. Thank you so much for joining us here today. And One Eye for sharing the career services information from CircuitStream. Pay attention to our website. You can check out circuitstream.com or the UCF Continuing Education website for future events. And thank you again, Jesse, for taking the time. This has been unbelievable. You were awesome. I'll probably invite you to come back again for a future event if that's okay. So
love to.
Amazing. All right. Well, cheers, everybody. Have an amazing Tuesday, and we will look forward to seeing everybody at the next event.
Yep. Good luck, everybody.
Bye.